We are back again for another Transformational Tuesday. This week we want to bring you more journeys, more stories, more information that's going to help you along your path too. So this week we have the amazing Kudirat with us.
Hello.
Do you want to just introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you.
Yes, good morning. My name is Kudirat. I am a property investor. My background is economics. I studied economics at uni and I went on to qualify as an accountant. So my background's in accountant. So I'm a qualified accountant and I then went into being a property investor.
Awesome. So you got a good set of all-round vision of what's going on in the world, right?
I love my numbers.
Okay, good. So just tell us, what is it that interested you in property in the first place? How did you come around thinking, yeah, I want to invest in property?
So it came about a number of years ago where I loved the transformation of buying a property, doing it up, and so I'd been doing this for a number of years. Then I took a break, and after a while, just for personal reasons, I went back into property and I thought I'd need to actually train properly and learn how to invest in property the right way with regards to regulations. Hence I thought, go back into property, do it the right way and take it on as a long-term investment and build that legacy for myself and my children.
So you were buying houses, living in them, doing them up and flipping them? Is that how you do it?
Initially, we would buy a house, do it up and rent it out. So we did that for a while and then flip it afterwards. So we'll do it short-term. When we get some capital growth on the property, we'll flip it and move on to the next one. So we weren't holding on to a lot of property for too long. But we enjoyed the transformation where you go into a house that needs work, go in, paint it, do the refurb, rent it out for a short while, sell, and then make some profit and move on.
Okay, so that's how you was doing it. And then you said, okay, right, I want to learn how to do it.
As a business.
Yes. I stopped for a while due to some personal reasons, and then I thought I need to go back into this because this is something I enjoy. It's a passion, and I want to turn it into a business. Hence I thought, why not go back into it, learn how to do it properly, and then go in full time. Yeah.
So then what was that? I mean, you loved it, but what was the thought of, I've got to go and learn to do it properly?
It was the returns, the rental returns, in terms of money coming in without having to do a lot of work afterwards. So initially, I'd go in, buy the property, we'll refurbish it, and once we got the tenants in, good tenants, all we just did was just waited for the extra cash to come in at the end of the month. And obviously the property also growing as well in terms of capital growth. So we had that profit of having money coming in and also the property growing in gain, capital gain.
Okay, good. So then what was it that you did start to do when you start to figure out how to do it properly? Do you start just straight away pick up where you left off? Same strategy or?
I think what I did initially was I thought about what strategy I wanted to go in, because like we know property, there are different strategies. There's just a buy to let or go in as buying a house and renting them out in rooms. And I'd done my figures because I'm an accountant. So I'd done my figures and I thought, why not maximize on having a property? And it's the reason why I went in for HMO. And that's my key strategy.
Yeah, so you like HMO then, you're a bit obsessed with them like me, right?
Yes, we do have a lot in common when it comes to HMO. I do love my HMOs. That's my key strategy, as I said. The fact behind it is that I can have a property, rent them out in rooms, or I can have a property and rent it to a family. Yeah. And at the end of it, the bottom line is that you make much more money with regards to having HMO. Yes, you put a lot of work in at the beginning, and that's where the training, the learning, the regulations comes in, but at the back end you make much more money in terms of cash flow. And that was my key strategy. That is still my key strategy as well.
So what have been your major challenges and what have been the blocks on your way to creating the success?
I think going deeper into my strategy, it's not just an HMO strategy whereby I buy properties and rent them out. I want to buy properties, do it as an HMO and pull all my money back out at the end of it. So for me, I had to look for the right property, the right location, that fitted my strategy, whereby at the back end I could get all my money back out and I could make that property work harder for me as opposed to buying a property, just doing it up and leaving the money in that deal. So it made me look for better. First of all, I had to look for the area where that strategy would work. And then after finding the area, I had to decide whether I wanted a professional HMO or student HMO. And then the little things like, would that room size fit my strategy? So I went in with all that at the back of my mind to look for the right area, and I've carried on ever since.
And you've got different areas, haven't you? So not only do you operate HMO and you kind of do a mixture between students and professionals, a mixture, but you also operate in an Article 4 area as well, right?
Yes, definitely. Article 4, what I do tell a lot of people is don't shy away from Article 4
so
because...
you can do it?
Yes, definitely. I am living proof. I've done it so many times now. I've got a property in my Article 4 area, actually 2, that I had to apply for planning permission and it got refused initially, but I got them back on appeal. So I think the thing is, a lot of people shy away from it, and I do like a challenge, and that's kind of why I decided to go into the Article 4 area. And I have been, all my properties that I've bought, I've got planning permission on them. And yes, they do generate absolutely high cash flow at the end of every month. So
it's very good demand in those areas. But I think what's really interesting, like for the viewers, what they will find, like, wow, you operate in Article 4 areas and you got them refused. Like, how did you handle that and the whole appeal? Like, what was that challenge like?
For me, when I had both of my properties that I bought, the application refused, I didn't shy away. What I had to do was go back and do my homework. I went through the website, I looked at the requirements, I looked at ways of how I could mitigate that property against what the council wants. So for example, if the council say there are going to be too many cars, I could say, well, I'll do A, B and C to actually mitigate that problem. So I found solutions to that problem as opposed to just walking away. And it just means you being persistent, and that's what I did. And I got the planning application through for those properties.
And how long did that process take to overcome the refusal to getting it granted?
Within a year, to be honest, because you would have, I think it's about 6 weeks where you can actually appeal. And then I did my homework and appealed, and then you have the option of either going in as a person or letting them, the committee deciding, and that's something I just did. I put in my appeal documents and then I just sat back and it came true.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you never gave up, because I think something like that, that is a reasonably long process to go through with these type of deals. But as we know, we operate in Article 4 ourselves. We know that they're worth it in regards to how much the values are going to be and like the kind of income to expect. But it's like that could really scare someone. Like, if it gets refused, what do I do then? If you don't have another strategy, did you have a different exit in mind if you didn't get that change round?
Yeah, so I go into all my deals with at least 3 exit strategies, whether maybe I should sell it, maybe I should rent it out to a family or do an HMO. So these particular deals, I had 3 exit strategies, but I wasn't going to give up on the key strategy, which was to turn it to an HMO. So for me, I had to go all the way, first of all, to see whether I could get that planning application approved, which I did. And obviously, once you get that approved in an Article 4 area, the property value goes up and automatically by 30%. Yeah. So why not? It's something I had no two ways about it. I wanted to go all the way for that. And yes, I did get the planning application approved. And yes, the property value did go up. And yes, I pulled out all my money out at the back end and a little bit more. So HMO, you can't fault it. It's a strategy that I will recommend to anyone, really.
Awesome. And like, we're talking about challenges that you come across. So your strategy is to invest money into a deal, be able to convert it, add value to it into a HMO, and then pull the money back out. Have there been any challenges in you always doing that strategy?
That's my key strategy. That's how I go in. The first one I actually did, I got the help of my lovely Trisha here, that after I had done it, I'd added value to it, and I wanted to going to refinance and pull my money out. Trisha did help me out with that, and I was able to pull all my money out and a little bit more. And so I think the key thing is to ask if you're not sure, and the key thing is that you can learn how to do it. So for me, I was lucky to have Trisha to help me with that, and I was able to pull my money out. But it is a key strategy that I use, and I don't go into any of these deals without being able to pull at least 95% of all my money out. So.
And you're using investor finance for your deals as well. So how do you find that process? Do you have any challenges around raising money and like what the feedback is on it?
I think initially I was kind of skeptical. Would I get investors? How would they invest in me? But I think over the years, what they have seen is that they've seen results. I'm able to show that it can be done. It has been done. And I have proven that it can be done. And with that, investors, they're always... I met someone yesterday and he goes, oh, I've got 50k, can I invest with you? Or no, I don't want the money, can you reinvest? So you always have, initially you would think it's not possible, but there's so much money out there that you wouldn't believe it. And it isn't a problem for me now. So I've got someone pull out of deal last week. I've got another investor lined up. So it's just, it gets easier over time. So
yeah. What is it that's easier? Because the steps of how it works is obviously the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, at the end, all the steps. You know the steps. You're following the process. So what is it that gets easier? Do you think?
I think initially the problem is putting yourself out there. That's what I found. I was shy. I don't put myself out there. But now I talk to everybody about what I do. You can't keep me quiet about what I do. I shout as much as possible. Wherever I go, I'm talking about property. I enjoy talking about property. So putting yourself out there, tell them what you do, show them results. And I always tell them, if you're interested, come and talk to me. So you leave the door open at the end of the discussion, and you will find out that they do come to talk to you about it. If not in public there, they do message you offline.
So that in itself is a personal transformation.
Yes, definitely, definitely, yeah.
So what are some of the results that you have been, this transformation that you have been through? Now, what are the results that you are getting?
I've got a couple of projects that are going live this month. I've got a 4-bed that I purchased and secured, and that's going to be turned into a 6-bed all-en-suite. With that, I'm going to be getting all my money out and much more. So that's going to be going live at the end of the month. I've got another one which should be going live in a couple of weeks, which is I secured as a 3-bed, and it's going to be turned into a 5-bed HMO. That's in an Article 4 area, so I'll be getting my money out and so much more with that one. And so I've got 2 other big projects coming along. I've got 2 10-bed HMOs, which are in the process of being secured. And once those go through, I will be aiming to get all my money out. And the target is, if I can't get everything out, at least I get 90% of my money out of each deal. So it's a win-win.
Awesome. And which ones have you either in progress or have you done over this last year as well?
I've got a couple that I done in terms of HMOs, and those are Article 4 areas. I've got a 6-bed HMO which is complete now and it's fully rented out. And with that one, it's in an Article 4 area. I got all my money out and much more. So that's fully rented out. I've got another one which is a 4-bed, and I'm turning that into a 6-bed. So I have people in there now. They're going to be moving out in a couple of months, which I'm also going to be turning into a 6-bed all-en-suite. And that's all within a space of a couple of years.
Yeah. So just going back to that one that you talked about where you got the help, what was the difference in terms of what was going to be left in, or what the valuation was, and then what it was, what it. So
initially, Trisha, remind me if I forget this, but initially. I had done all the works and I thought, yeah, I've got it right this time. And I wanted to revalue. And I think I went in at 225. And Trisha went, no way, you can't do that. And I think at the end of it, I got it out for 325. So there was 100k difference in what I wanted to do. And after speaking to Trisha, I did. And it did, at the end of the day, that's the difference in actually talking to someone, or instead of just keeping it to yourself. So for me, it was absolutely awesome that I got to connect with Trisha. And again, our strategies are the same, and we invest in similar areas. And so she did help me with that particular refinance, and it was absolutely awesome. It was over the moon of 100k difference in one transaction.
So anything you invested in yourself, was it worth it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, it's the way you have to invest in yourself. I speak to people, I run property meetups, and I say you must invest in yourself. If you don't invest in yourself, do not expect miracles. I see people going on to jumping from one free seminar to the other, not focusing on something they want to do. So it's a win-win. You invest in yourself, you make money doing that. So you have to spend the money to get something out of it. Nothing comes free. And all my investments so far, in terms of training, no regrets. So it's
we've
awesome.
talked about it before, right? It's not like people think, oh, it's going to cost me money, or why do I pay this money?
Yeah.
And then the next level of people are like, oh, what's my return on investment?
Yeah.
So like, what am I going to get out of it? People never ask themselves the question, what's the cost of inaction? So people talk about ROI, but what about COI? I mean, we said it many times before. It's like, what about the cost of inaction? Yeah. Well, the cost of inaction would have been 100k.
That's what I was going to say. I was just going to say that in one deal, if I hadn't connected with Trisha, I would have lost 100k.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm getting some money, but I could have made 100k more. And so it's a no-brainer. One has to train him or herself to get to the next level. And now, before I would have said, maybe I shouldn't do this, but I don't hold back in whatever I want. So for example, if it's public speaking I want to invest in, I think, and I see a good course, I go for it. I don't hold back, because when you spend money, you get results. Not only do you get results, you meet lovely people. I've met fantastic people over the number of years.
Les Brown.
Yes,
Right?
I was awesome. And his daughter, Oni Brown. So the thing about it is that I spend money, not just about the training, but to meet awesome people and connect with them. I JV with a lot of people that I've met along my journey, which has also helped me. And I learn from them and they learn from me. So we bounce off one another. We hold one another accountable as well. So we also have, business partners, accountability partners, and it's just been awesome. So
what would you say are either one or some of the biggest turnarounds, differences from just doing, one property at a time and, doing it the way you used to do it, to now working on all these multiple projects, big 10 bags, big conversions? What's a big turnaround?
So for me, it was scalability. So initially, when I used to do property years ago, I would do one after the other. One first, move on to the next one, get some money, pull it out. But now, due to the understanding, the ability to use other people's money, the ability to JV with other people, I am able to have numerous different projects at the same time. At the moment, I'm looking at 3 different projects and a land development. So there's so many things you can do by JVing, by meeting different people, and the ability to scale. And so it's key that you train yourself and know how to do that as well. You can't just go in and think, okay, I'm just going to get someone and just do a JV. You need to know what to look out for.
It's not about because, we were talking to somebody before on the last programme, and he found that he was just racing forward, trying to get as many projects as he could, because that would mean that he's doing well. It's like you're talking there about, 3 projects that you've got going on right now.
Scalability is
to
key.
some people, they'd be like, oh, 3, that's not very much, but that's in excess of 30 odd units.
Yeah.
So when you look at it like that, yes, you can have a small amount. It's about what does this project give me in return, and is that going to give me an excellent income with my outcome? Like, what is it for? Is it going to create that freedom for me?
Yeah.
You can do smaller amounts. It's hilarious. You could do one project. It could be 10 million. It doesn't matter. But I think it's the way that you think.
Yeah.
But what I quite like with you is that you're still doing multiple strategies. You're not putting all your eggs in one basket, and you've got your bread and butter deals, but then you've now scaled and you've got these, like you say, developments, the big 10 beds and stuff. Are you nervous about doing that?
I was, but not anymore.
Yeah. Transformation.
Definitely. I was. Normally, if I had a house more than 5 bed, I would panic. But now, most of my projects, 90% of my projects are 10 beds or more. The commercial conversions, the land developments, the 10 beds here and there. And again, what I wanted to touch on is about delegating. I had the problem of delegating. I wanted everything do myself. So, but now I'm able to delegate, get a project manager to help you. That's the only way you can scale. You can't be in all these places at the same time. So I have a project manager that helps me out with some of my projects. There are some that are not too far away that I can oversee myself. So I look at what needs to be done to scale, as opposed to I need to get everything and keep it to myself and run mental doing it. So I've learned to take a seat back now and delegate. And you know, the key thing is looking for the deals, making sure they stack. That's key for me. So the way I look at things has changed completely to the way I used to look at things before. So yeah, that's awesome.
So if you had some advice for people who maybe are thinking about either investing in themselves or just getting into property, or maybe they're already in it but they're just operating at a small level because of some fear or something like that, have you got any advice or any thoughts that went through your mind that may have slowed you down or stopped you that you can give?
Feel the fear and do it anyway. So there are going to be fears. When I started out, I was fear of talking to people. I was shy of having, talking to them about what I was doing, because I'm an accountant. What am I doing in accounting going into the property? So I had to talk to people about what I was doing, and I had to train. Initially, I was thinking, oh my God, I've got to put all that money down. Really? That's a lot of money to learn how to do a certain thing. And after a while, I'm thinking, it's a no-brainer. That's money well spent. The transformation, the difference in what I was doing before has changed tremendously, and what I see in terms of result. So for me, it's about knowing what you want to do. If you wanted to get into property, don't hold back. Learn. Go out and choose. Learn how to do it the right way. If you need to get a JV partner, do it the right way. Whatever you have to do, learn how to do it and do it the right way, and connect with people.
Awesome. It's a total transformation. It's amazing to watch you grow, and I'm excited to see what you do this year.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing it with the people. I'm sure you're going to inspire many more people than you've already inspired, because your way of taking action, staying in the game, following the process, even when it doesn't seem to go your way, is fantastic to watch.
Yeah.
So as always, you got to remember this one thing. You got to do the right thing for the right reason, because that's the only way that you're going to discover your true potential.